What you think you know about America's gun crisis is just the tip of the iceberg. We see the headlines, the debates, the thoughts and prayers. But beneath that churns a system riddled with loopholes and corporate protections. The path from a legal gun sale to a crime scene is terrifyingly short, and the tools of mass violence are easier to get than a New York apartment. This isn't just about good guys and bad guys, it's about a system engineered to funnel guns into the wrong hands, while shielding those responsible. Children are now more likely to die from a bullet than a car crash. Tonight, we're peeling back the layers to expose the machinery of America's gun crisis. Here are 5 facts that will change your understanding of this issue. Let's start with a staggering fact. About 80% of guns used in crime start as legal purchases. Most crime guns begin on the shelf of a licensed dealer, then enter the black market through straw purchases, where someone with a clean record buys a gun for someone who can't. Straw purchasing is the backbone of illegal gun trafficking, and prosecutions are rare. Dealers are only required to stop a sale if they have reasonable cause to suspect a straw purchase, a standard so vague it's easy to ignore. Enter the iron pipeline. Guns flow from states with weak laws to those with strict ones, like New York and New Jersey. Traffickers exploit this patchwork, buying carloads of guns in lax states and selling them for profit in cities desperate for solutions. The result? Cities like Chicago and Baltimore are flooded with out-of-state guns. 90% of New York City's crime guns come from elsewhere. State borders can't contain the flow. Without federal standards, the iron pipeline keeps pumping weapons into our communities. The system isn't just broken, it's designed to fail. Politicians in strong law states aren't making excuses. They're being held hostage by the laws of their neighbors. Until we address this at the federal level, the cycle continues. The iron pipeline is a direct, traceable line from legal sale to crime scene. It's not just a loophole, it's a superhighway for gun violence, and the consequences are measured in lives lost every single day. This is the machinery behind America's gun crisis, and it's running at full speed. Here's a fact that should stop us in our tracks. Guns are now the leading cause of death for American children and teens. Not car accidents, not cancer, firearms. For decades, we made cars safer and saved lives. But with guns, we shrug and move on. 4.5 million kids live in homes with loaded, unlocked guns, where a lethal weapon is as accessible as a TV remote. The result? Tragedies that are as predictable as they are preventable. Toddlers finding guns, teens in crisis, school shootings with a parent's weapon. Safe storage laws face fierce opposition, even though a gun in the home is far more likely to harm a family member than stop a criminal. We child-proof medicine bottles and outlets, but not guns. Why does common sense vanish when it comes to firearms? The normalization is chilling. Active shooter drills are now as routine as math class. We're asking children to adapt to a world where their school could become a war zone. No other developed nation lives like this. In places like the UK or Australia, this would be a national scandal. Here, it's a statistic that barely makes the news. The real tragedy is our acceptance. We've made the leading killer of children a fact of life. And that's a choice. One we make every day we do nothing. The crisis isn't just in the headlines, it's in our homes, our schools, and our laws. We can change it, but only if we face it. The cost of inaction is measured in young lives, and that's a price no society should pay. Let's talk about the hardware. The AR-15 is infamous, but a new threat is emerging, the Glock switch. This tiny $20 device turns a legal handgun into a fully automatic machine gun, firing an entire magazine in seconds. It's illegal, but easy to buy online or 3D print at home. Seizures of these devices have skyrocketed, and they're showing up at crime scenes nationwide. Installation takes a minute. The result is a weapon that can fire over 200 rounds per minute. For police and the public, it's a nightmare, turning routine encounters into firefights. The laws meant to keep machine guns off the streets are being bypassed by a piece of plastic. Authorities are playing whack-a-mole, shut down one website, 10 more pop up. The files are everywhere and enforcement can't keep up. The line between legal handgun and illegal machine gun is vanishing. The civilian arsenal isn't just growing, it's evolving, fast. The potential for extreme violence now fits in a pocket. This is the new face of America's gun crisis. High-tech, cheap, and nearly impossible to stop. And it's happening right now. What if you can't pass a background check and don't have a straw purchaser? No problem. The private sale loophole has you covered. At gun shows, private sellers aren't required to run background checks. No paperwork, no questions, just cash and carry. For felons and abusers, it's a one-stop shop. Undercover stings show how easy it is to buy guns with no vetting at all. The same loophole applies online sites like Arms List connect buyers and sellers who meet in person to complete the sale. No background check required. You need more paperwork to buy a puppy than an assault rifle. The system relies on an honor code that criminals are happy to ignore. Universal background checks are supported by over 80% of Americans, including most gun owners. Yet Congress blocks reform, thanks to the gun lobby's power. The loophole remains wide open, a parallel market for anyone who wants a gun, no questions asked. It's not just a gap in the law, it's a gaping wound. Every day it stays open, more guns flow into the wrong hands. Closing it is common sense. The only thing stopping us is politics, and the cost is measured in lives. Imagine if you couldn't sue a car company for a faulty vehicle. That's the reality for gun makers, thanks to the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, PLCAA. Passed in 2005, PLCAA gives gun manufacturers and dealers near-total immunity from lawsuits by gun violence victims. No other industry enjoys this kind of protection. The law was sold as shielding companies from blame for criminal misuse, but it also blocks lawsuits over reckless marketing and distribution. Before PLCAA, lawsuits targeted companies for marketing military-grade weapons to civilians and oversupplying dealers who fuel the black market. Now, those cases are nearly impossible. With no threat of liability, gun makers have little incentive to innovate or police their own sales. Exceptions are rare, like the Sandy Hook families, who used a consumer protection law to force a $73 million settlement from Remington. But the shield remains, protecting profits over people. The auto industry was forced to make cars safer. The gun industry is frozen in time. They can market AR-15s with military imagery, knowing victims' families have almost no legal recourse. PLCAA is why the industry resists change, even as the body count rises. It's a law that says one industry doesn't have to answer for the deadly consequences of its choices. The result? A gun industry untouchable by the courts, no matter the cost. And that's a fact most Americans don't even know. The iron pipeline, guns as the leading killer of kids' machine gun conversion devices, the private sale loophole, and a legal shield for the industry. These are the facts behind America's gun crisis. This isn't just about what happens after the trigger is pulled. It's about a system built to fail. Real change starts with understanding the problem in all its complexity. Apathy is the ally of the status quo. Awareness is the first step to change. If this opened your eyes, share it. Talk to your friends, your family, your elected officials. The first step to fixing a problem this big is refusing to look away. Thanks for watching.